The two Mehtas, father and son. It's nice section to read again. Who wants to read from there? Maybe we should share the screen. Chitra Mataji, if you have it in your system, will you be able to share it on the screen or you're on phone?
Prabhuji, I'm on phone. I am not on this.
Okay. Okay. Who is on system? Who is on system?
Give me a few minutes. I will join on system. Presently, I'm on mobile, but within 2-3 minutes, I will join on system if you allow.
Okay, sure. Can do that. What I will do, I will forward this to you. Already it is there. Put out. No, I will ask after the class. Sponsor. I don't think I should have it here. Not take it. Shajapati Prabhu, I will forward this to you. You can open it from your system. It should be in your inbox, no problem. I mean, WhatsApp. Okay. Who has the book? You said? Just come on the screen for Kamalini. Anyway, I will start reading. Let Prabhu join and open it in the, on the screen. The two Mehtas, father and son, followed Ganatra into the room. Everyone was relieved and elated. So much had hinged on this issue. Then I realized that Mr. Ganatra must have been exaggerating their claim and determination with Mrs. Nair and exaggerating Mrs. Nair's unwillingness when he met Chaganda. So Chaganda is the person who is to who took the money with this. Ganatra is the one who is doing the who is helping out on this transaction. It had seemed like there was a huge gulf, but that was to get them to come down because our offer was so low, and to get Mrs. Nair to come up because their demand was so high, and eventually we got met in the middle. Chaganlal came down from 4 lakhs to 2.25 lakhs. Mrs. Nair came up from 75,000 to 140,000, and Prabhupada agreed to pay Chaganlal the difference of 85,000. Actually, he brought both sides, and finally he made this offer. Anyway, we were all relieved and elated and amazed by Prabhupada's expertise and kindness. It's only out of both Shantilal Mehta's and Mrs. Nair's deep respect and admiration for him, they were able to even come and sit together in the same room and talk. This is a very interesting thing because in this world now, time and again we see that people have so much animosity that they don't even want to look at their face, look at each other's face, And that's such a pathetic and very, very painful thing that you don't even want to look at a human being's face. There can be sometimes reasons, sometimes no reasons. But this proves once again that Krishna consciousness, a pure devotee can bring even the um, completely opposite ends of deadly enemies into the same table for dialogue. Any other interesting similarities you can see from our say Shastra or the histories anywhere else? By their potency, they were able to bring people of completely opposite ends to come. Any similar examples? I was thinking of tiger and deer hugging each other and dancing and chanting Hari Bol when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing by Jharkhand forest.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right. So those who are like completely out opposite ends can come together by this. Also proves that the Krishna consciousness is the only uniting factor in this whole world that can bring people together. You can see when you have a Harinam chanting, a Jagannath Rath Yatra, or any festival, people when they start chanting the kirtans, they just smile at each other, they enjoy, dance together, at each other, dance together. How does this magic happen? Otherwise, people don't even want to look at each other, what to speak of talking to each other. This is so much in the modes, so much in the material modes. If you're really out of the material modes, then we should keep aside all the differences and come together for a higher purpose. But even many times among devotees, we can find such situation. So because we are all completely in the material modes, we are not able to come out of it even after say hearing so much Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so many lectures, and whatever. Then we are not able to come out of it. So let's read further. Prabhu, are you sharing the screen now? I think he's trying to join from the. Let me read further. With everyone still gathered, Prabhupada spoke about his mission in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. He asked me to lead the singing of the Asima praise. In the end, everyone was happy. It was decided that there would be another meeting, that we and Mrs. Nair would pay Chagandar their money and that they would withdraw the suit. And neither side would tell the solicitors. So, very important because if the solicitors get to know, they will ask for their share. No? So the whole thing that Prabhupada arranged is because he wanted to cut down on the solicitor's commission. He says, why to understand the interest solicitors? We are already losing so much money. As this we can do sorry to ourselves. This is a smart move by Prabhupada. As a result of the negotiations, Mehta agreed to withdraw his suit from the High Court for a payment of rupees 140,000 white from Mrs. Nair and rupees 85,000 black from us. So we were actually giving black. Prabhupada was actually giving black money. because it is internally handled, right? In the agreement, they will not mention that. But the transaction was tricky because this is where the beautiful thing will come. You should enjoy this. I wish it brings the text on the screen. Page number 209. But the transaction was tricky because if he paid Mehta first, he would keep the money and not withdraw the case. And if he withdrew the suit first, we could just keep the money, especially because nothing could be done legally to enforce a black transaction. But so basically, this is what. Sorry, somebody is saying something. Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Page 209, Prabhu, you can zoom it. Yeah, they just in the second paragraph. And zoom it, Prabhu. So nothing could be done legally to enforce a black transaction. All the principal parties, other than Mrs. Nair, met in the office of a solicitor, Mr. Pesania. More. The basic plan was discussed. If there was a major hitch, who would hold the black money? As Dhaval Krishna later described, it was a gentleman's agreement, but there weren't any gentlemen anymore. So nobody trusted anyone else. With the whole plan threatened, the atmosphere in the office was tense. No one was ready to trust anyone else with the money. Then Prabhupada meekly, almost sheepishly offered, I can hold it. And everyone immediately concurred because they knew they could trust him. Even to hold the black money, Prabhupada is the only one who can be trusted. The senior Mr. Mehta stayed with Prabhupada in the solicitor's chamber, and the others went to the court to withdraw the claim. Then, when Mr. Mehta's son and the others returned, he got his money. Prabhupada later summarized the settlement. Chaganlal advanced 51,000, and when there was questioning of settlement, he came. He wanted that if you give me 3 lakhs, then I will compromise. So that Mr. Ganadhara Mayor, I induced him, just make settlement. Then Chaganlal came down, 2,25,000. Then he asked Mr. and Mrs. Mayor, no, you will pay this. Where I got, if he takes all money, then what shall I get? Then I had to settle with her how much she would pay. She came from 1 lakh to 1,40,000. So what is the balance? 85. So I said, yes, I will pay it. Settle up. The balance, I will pay 85,000. That Chaganlal, I paid him extra 85,000. That is also black, no more white. The black money was paid in this way, that the money was counted and was put in a handbag. It was locked by him. The key was with him and the bag was with me. As soon as court accepted the agreement, then I handed over. Take this bag. So the whole thing ended. So all the settlements are done. At Mr. Sethi's house, Prabhu, you can zoom it a bit more. It's a little smaller font. No, zoom it a bit. Zoom. Make it 150. Yes, this is okay. Anyone else want to read? I have some pain in my mouth because of talking. Today.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am. At Mr. Sethi's house.
Yes. At Mr. Sethi's house, Prabhupada received an invitation.
You're showing the screen? The screen is what is showing?
I'm reading from my screen, Prabhu.
Oh, no, on the screen it is not proper, Prabhu. Go up, Prabhu. Oh, no. You are in page, you are in the previous page, Prabhu.
10.
Next
It has
page.
to be 2010. Yeah.
Prabhu, you haven't moved to 210. Yes, yes, ma'am. Please scroll as she reads. You may have to do that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. At Mr. Sethi's house, Prabhupada received an invitation from Yogiraj Shanti Swarup, a life member and spiritual activist, who to be the guest of honor at the opening night of a series of lectures and discussions to be held at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in Girgaon Chowpatty, South Bombay, on the subject of how the Bhagavad Gita could solve the world's problems. Founded by Sri Kanayalal M. Munshi in 1938 under the patronage of Mahatma Gandhi, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan was a leading educational, cultural, and intellectual institution for Indian culture. After K.M. Munshi's demise, his wife Lilavati Munshi, who herself had been a prominent freedom fighter and was a politician, author, and welfare worker, became president. Mrs. Munshi was eager to meet Prabhupada and she extended a personal invitation for him to join her for tea in the library of her quarters, also in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan building, just before the conference. Mindful of her having used her influence as the governor's wife to push Prabhupada out of premises housing his legal League of Devotees, a forerunner of ISKCON when he was in Jhansi in 1955, so that she could use it for her Mahila Samiti, Women's Association. Prabhupada, Shamsundar, Shruta Kirti, and I went to meet her. Several other important people and conference presenters, sadhus, swamis, and political figures were also there to meet Prabhupada, including Sri Gulzarilal Nanda, who had been Minister of Home Affairs in the central government and acting Prime Minister after the death of Jawaharlal Nehru in 1964, and Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri in 1966. He was a celebrated personality in India, revered for his religiousness and promotion of Hindu principles and projects. But within this group of esteemed leaders, everyone accepted Prabhupada as the leader. When Prabhupada,
That's a nice one, no? Yeah.
yeah,
It's very nice. Yes, Madam. Continue, please.
when Prabhupada was seated, everyone started praising him for the wonderful work he had done in spreading Indian culture throughout the world. Mrs. Munshi, in particular, was astonished by his success. How did you do it? She kept asking. How did you get them to shave their heads? How did you get them to wear dhotis and kurtas and tilak? How did you get the girls to wear saris?
So it's very
Prabhupada
interesting.
explained.
It's very interesting. If you see the book that that's above, this is very interesting. This Mr. Munshi, right? He is the one mindful of her having used her influence as the governor's wife to push Prabhupada out of the premises, housing his League of Devotees. Prabhupada had this thing in the Jhansi, right? League of Devotees before this. And he was in Jhansi, so that she could use it for her Mahila Samiti. She was the one actually asked Prabhupada to leave. Because of her only this Prabhupada had to leave. So normally when somebody does it, we won't want to go and meet her, right? Such a person, right? But Prabhupada is actually, he says, I have to meet her. So now the situation is such that Prabhupada has become such a popular, prominent figure that the same Mrs. Munshi is really in awe of him. So that's why she's asking this question again and again. How did you do it? How did you make them wear dhoti kurta? It's a big, even now it is a big surprise for anyone who see the West whites doing this, chanting, dancing, giving classes and all that. So many ways, they're all so pakka in their Vaishnava tests. So you might have seen in all these other Europe, US, Canada, all other places, South America, Australia, everywhere, UK, everywhere. The girls wear nice saris and dance and do nice kirtans. It's the boys are dressed up properly. Chitra Madhuri might have seen recently, Indra came there, right?
Yes,
You would
yes,
have
Prabhu.
seen many of his disciples would have been literally dancing like crazy. Definitely there would be a there must have been a Kirtan there, isn't it?
Yes.
When he
Yes,
goes to
Prabhu.
meet with speakers, people just go crazy.
Mm.
So you can
Also,
see so
Prabhuji, in
many
Mayapur, if you can see all the foreigners in Mayapur. I mean,
yeah,
the small kids
Gurgaon
and from,
also.
yeah, all the foreigners.
That is in India. If you go to the other world, you will see even more. Other world means I'm meaning, say Europe, any part of Europe or UK or anywhere else. So such an amazing thing. So see, now this is what the tide turns completely the other way. But for that,
Yeah.
we have to be literally persevere like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is able to, one side it's his purity, and the other side, he didn't mind when he was asked to leave the Jhansi League of Devotees, that building. But now he's coming back with many more buildings. Now they are surprised how he could do it. So that's why she's asking this question. This is real success. One
Yes.
who does not understand your value, if you by your pure devotional service, by your complete dependence and surrender to Krishna, Krishna turns the whole thing from turns the whole thing 180 degree. He made it in such a way that within 4, 5 years or say 8, 10 years maybe maximum, that Prabhupada is such a worldwide figure, and that this same person had to actually turn around and ask this question out of surprise. And correct me if I'm wrong, this K. Munshi, Kanilal Munshi, right? This is the same place where our Chaupati temple is there, right? K. Munshi Marg.
Exactly. I was just going to say I am from the same college, Prabhuji.
Ah,
I mean, I am from
that's
Bharti
nice.
Vidya Bhavan College. Yes, me and the Prabhuji both. And we were, I mean, yes, we are from the same Bhavan's college in Chowpatty.
Wonderful.
We're just 2 minutes walk from our temple, outside temple. Yeah.
So sweet. Yeah, it's nice, really. And that place has become so it's a epicenter of all our preaching and everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu. But unfortunately, when we were in college, we were not even aware. I mean, when I came to Pune, then I actually came into ISKCON movement. Otherwise, when we were in college, we didn't even know that there was a center or anything like that.
Okay.
Because in 96, we completed our college. For 5 years, I was in the same college. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
But Prabhuji, Jaganlal,
Yes,
Mitra, all these people are so fortunate. They were able to have Prabhupada's association, really. So
and so
amazing.
intense association, huh? The other side of association, which is apart from your Bhagavatam, Kirtan and other side.
Really, they are so fortunate.
But he held to the black money, and made sure they all are trusting each other so much, really. Okay, so let's go forward.
Would anybody like to read?
Yeah, so this question is asked by Munshi, Mr. Munshi. Yes, Mataji. Mataji, your voice is a bit, looks like it's a bit far from the mic.
Now, Prabhuji, is it okay? Now?
Better, Mataji. Yeah.
I'll increase the volume of my telephone. Okay. Mrs. Munshi. Okay. Sorry.
Prabhupada made a friend from there. You it's on the screen.
Prabhupada explained that. From there, Prabhuji, that is what it starts.
Yes. Correct.
Prabhupada explained that although there had been many editions of the Bhagavad Gita, it had not been presented as it is, and there had not been any programs to train students to follow its principles. Although there were many branches and institutions of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, both within and outside India, and although they were disseminating books, there was no program for training young men and women to become followers of Vedic culture. Books were required and also training, and he had given both.
See, this is the beauty. Prabhupada is explaining the reason for his success. One is Shastras. Second is training. If these two things even now we do, study the shastras properly and then train them properly, then still it will continue. One thing that is missing today also, I was telling the devotees in the temple here that we are able to distribute books, but we are not able to study books. Even this book I just got, it seems many devotees receive this. I'm reading a following from the book. One of the devotees gave it to me. He said that he just opened the cover and fresh he gave it. I don't know, many months ago, we also have been reading this for quite some time. So the devotees would have got even before that. So it easily 8-9 months. So for 8 months, nobody read this book. It's just lying there with the cover completely, the plastic cover still on. So somebody had to come and open it for them. Okay, please continue, Mataji. So this is the secret. The purpose. We have to be very, very sure about this. This is the same thing that we should also follow. It's a beautiful point that Prabhupada is making here. Then Mrs. Munshi is bringing up one more point.
Mrs. Munshi brought up a point that was on many people's minds. Quite often, when the founder of a mission is present, she said, the mission is very successful. It's flourishing and prospering. But after the founder leaves, things deteriorate. So what will be the future of your movement after you go?
This is asking this in 73 itself. But which is nice, just now it is recorded. Please read for purpose. It's beautiful.
The future of my mission is very bright, Prabhupada replied. As long as my disciples follow my instructions. Just like Gandhiji, he had so many programs, but after he left, his followers changed everything. That is so very true, Prabhu.
See, so true, no? And Prabhupada is using this to put the point across. Because everybody is thinking Gandhiji is the father of the nation, he did everything, he is the person. What did he do after that? The freedom itself was such a pain. Until now, we are suffering because of the partition. Yes.
And so many. Okay.
He wanted
village organization. He wanted the economy to be based on agriculture. And after he left, Nehru and others changed the whole program. They wanted to industrialize India and imitate the West. So he had his programs. But after he left, his so-called followers changed everything, and everything became spoiled. So in the same way, if I leave and my followers change what I have given, what can I do? By saying this, I realized Prabhupada was challenging us. Very, very true. Prabhupada was challenging us. His followers, with the responsibility of remaining faithful to his instructions. One bearded sadhu said that he had been holding meetings throughout Bombay and teaching people to cure their diseases by chanting God's name. Thousands of people were attending and many were getting cured. He suggested that there could be some cooperation between himself and Prabhupada, that together they could hold massive meetings for chanting Hare Krishna, whereby many more people would be benefited. I'm gathering people together and you are gathering people, he said. I am getting people to chant God's name and you are getting people to chant. We should cooperate. No, Prabhupada replied. This is against our principles. The name of God is God himself and we are God's servants. We do not use the holy name of God for our sense gratification or material purposes. We chant the holy name without any personal. Without any personal ambition, simply to glorify and serve the holy name. So we cannot participate in any such program.
See, Prabhupada is so forthright in his clarity, right? All these people, after seeing Prabhupada's success, they just want to come and join. But when he was really alone, who was really there to support him? And that is one side of it. Of course, we don't unnecessarily, Prabhupada, in his level, he will not have those things in the back of his mind. But he's so clear that this person says he wants to cure diseases by chanting God's names. But Prabhupada says, no, that is not our main motive. We want to just glorify God's name. Whether the disease is cured or not is not our main agenda. So, please continue.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
this sentence, it says, we do not use the holy name of a God for our sense gratification or material purposes. But how does that person, the bearded sadhu, meaning why this sense gratification and material purpose Prabhupada is saying here?
Yeah, see, the thing is, he is calling out people that don't chant Krishna's name, your disease will be cured. Correct? But after that disease is cured, they will stop chanting, no?
Okay, that way.
So it is not a punishment. They just want it for a material purpose. And for that also they may be charging something, whatever, I don't know. Definitely, because if you are going to the doctor and giving money and getting the disease cured, someone is giving holy name to get the disease cured, you definitely charge something. So he is trying to increase his market share, or he wants to increase his by utilizing Prabhupada's popularity. This is what happens. When we become popular, then all these other things come into play. Then what happens? Then these people will say, you please join us, we will give you the space, you will do it. Then they will announce it as so and so group is, the Sangha is doing this thing, and then Hare Krishna is part of it. Then they will say that, they will utilize the popularity and the reach of our Hare Krishna movement, and then they will want to come in that way. That is only when popularity and that whole thing came up. Otherwise, they were not really coming up. So many times this Garki Murgi Dal Barabar thing happens. Like they just treat us. As long as Prabhupada was struggling, nobody was taking care. But then when they saw the results coming up because of his real intense hard work, they wanted to take advantage of it. And again, the mentality as it goes, when you are utilizing some spiritual thing for material purposes, the thing will always be, you will see how much gain I will get, how much gain I will get. On the other hand, what Prabhupada started is how much I can give it to others so that others will be benefited. For that, I am willing to go to any extent of sacrifice.
Also, Prabhuji, again here Prabhupada's purity is also again highlighted, right? Because he was so clear in his mission and his, they were diverted anywhere. I mean, whatever came in the middle, whatever was given to him. So that was also one important thing.
It's very clear, and because of the purity only till now the movement is sustaining. Like that question that Munshi asked, a very beautiful Mrs. Munshi asked, no? It's a very beautiful question. This is after the founder is absent, is gone, then it collapses. How many movements like that we have seen? The founder is there, he doesn't. When he is there, he's so whatever he may be doing some gymnastics, anything that he may do. But after he leaves, it becomes like a ghost hunted place. Or some people who have access to that their treasure, their thing only come and go. There is no visibility of its growing, isn't it? Whereas you see everywhere temples are opening, Prabhupada's Murti is there, automatically it takes there. Just as long as we follow the same program, there's nothing worry about.
Also, Prabhuji, also whatever Prabhupada gave to his disciples their conviction was also to follow Prabhupada's footsteps only. That was also very important, right?
That is also because of his purity. He was very strict in all his dealings. At the same time, he was very kind and compassionate also. And that is why even those who have not seen Prabhupada or who are not direct disciples of Prabhupada or whatever, they are also able to get attracted to Prabhupada's purity. Huh?
True, true.
So that's why you should the quality of the steel that way how strong it is and how enduring it is. Yeah, so let's continue. Who's reading?
Somebody else wants to read, they can continue.
Yeah,
Prabhu.
anyone else want to read this way? From then Mrs. Munshi is close on the there. Who's reading?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Gaurav.
Okay. Then Mrs. Munshi disclosed another special purpose of her hosting Prabhupada. She wanted to sell him Bharati Vidya Bhavan's printing press, the Associated Press. It was a big press that had been one of the best in India, printing religious books and phone directories and handling many government contracts. But it was a letter press operation, and the publishing field had turned into a photo offset, which produced a higher quality and less expensive product. In fact, the Associated Press had lost their government contracts, their primary means of support, and was in financial trouble.
So she wants to do business. Now she wants to do business with Prabhupada. She didn't want to give her the building in Jhansi. Yeah, you see how Prabhupada is responding.
Prabhupada listened to the proposal and asked some questions, but he was already dealing with Dai Nippon, who had the best, most advanced facility and wasn't interested in the outdated machinery. Actually, to purchase your press is no difficulty, he said. Money and I have no problem. However, your press has no utility. Mrs. Moon,
This is
Prabhupada was blunt.
blunt. Those days he didn't have money. He was asked to leave. He left. Yeah, please continue.
Mrs. Munshi was disappointed, but there was nothing she could do to convince him, and it was time for the conference to begin in the auditorium. Prabhupada actually wanted to return to Juhu to work on the land matter, but everyone insisted that he address the audience. They had even wanted him to lead the entire 3-day conference because his age, wisdom, stature, and accomplishment elevated him beyond the other participants. Swamiji, Swamiji, one of them implored, speaking for everyone. Only you can lead us. You are the real leader. You are the only one who can solve our problems. That's a fact.
See, that's such a nice thing. Huh? How much they are hankering for him to. This is how Krishna's way, Prabhu. Mataji. Because we all think that, I don't know if Krishna is watching. We are just some few people, or maybe whenever we go to some program, hardly anybody there. And we are thinking that this is not a successful thing, whatever. Today morning also we were discussing. When Bhishma Deva was speaking, hardly anybody was, just a few handful of people were there. But after thousands of years, we are still remembering these glorious prayers and teachings and so on. So in devotional service, one thing we have to carve in our minds that that which is done with a pure motive never goes in vain. It may look like the program stops for some time. It may look like the people are not coming, all those kind of things. But then the seed that we have sown in the hearts of the people, it keeps growing. Years later, they will come and they will tell you that this what you did. They told that there was a trigger behind me to take it up seriously like that. So we should never lose heart saying that no, I am not getting this. It means we are actually running after popularity. We discussed this also in the past that popularity is nothing. If popularity is the main criteria to judge a program's success, then we'll be real losers. People started it in the show in a storefront, and you see where we are now, right? Yes, Prabhu, see how Prabhupada is answering. So you are the real leader. You are the only one who can solve our problems. See, listen to this.
Prabhupada said, That's a fact, Prabhupada
He didn't
replied.
say, no. He didn't say any have any artificial humility. No, I am not the leader. Like that, he was not telling. That's a fact. Yes, I am your leader. Leader. Nobody can have the guts to speak like this. Huh? Yes, please continue.
That's a fact, Prabhupada replied. But are you prepared to follow? And that was really the issue.
Real straight man. It's like sadhu means the sword. They say, real sharp sword.
Looks like Prabhupada was in a different mood that day.
Yeah, because he can be like real straightforward. Yes,
Still, the group wouldn't take no for an answer. Yogiraj Shanti Swarup threw himself at Prabhupada's feet and begged him to come, saying that the audience would be packed with leading Bombay people and that the press and many important officials would be there. Finally, Prabhupada agreed and we all went down to the auditorium.
See, this is real Krishna doing. They have to literally beg Prabhupada to come to a program. When there are so many people who are anchoring, where is the program? Where is the program? And Prabhupada is so beautifully, he's just saying, I don't want to come to the program. I just want to go to the temple. But they are literally begging him. And all these people are not like full-time devotees, by the way. They're all either like some important people in the society, whatever. Yes, please continue.
Bharadraj led a kirtan to begin, and then Prabhupada spoke, indirectly answering Mrs. Munchi's question about how he had accomplished so much with his disciples. He explained the dharma of the living entity, service to God. Is there anybody who can say boldly, I do not serve anyone? He asked. Whether you become a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or this or that, your real characteristics is that you have to serve. That service attitude, when it is misunderstood, it is applied to Maya and we are not happy. When it is applied to Krishna, then we are happy. You must render service. That is your position. You cannot become master. For what does Krishna come? Does he come to establish Hindu Dharma, Muslim Dharma, or Christian Dharma? If Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, why he should be interested in particular type of Dharma, Hindu Dharma, Christian Dharma, or Muslim Dharma? No. Therefore, after giving instructions throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita, at last Krishna says, the most confidential part of my instruction, Arjuna, Sarva Guhyatamam, is this, Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. This is Dharma. If you're not a surrendered soul to Krishna or God, your Dharma has no meaning. It is useless. The definition of Dharma is given by Krishna at the last stage of his instruction in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Prahlad Maharaj said, Kumaram Acharet Pragyo Dharman Bhagavataniha. Kumara, from the very beginning of childhood, one should be taught about Dharma, especially Bhagavata Dharma, the relationship with God. And actually, it is happening all over the world. Since we have presented this Dharma to serve Krishna, it is working very wonderfully. We have got branches all over the world. Some of the samples you see, those who are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, these Europeans, Americans, Canadians. We have even got a branch in India, Iran. Mohammedans, Christians, Africans, everyone is taking to this Dharma, this Krishna consciousness movement. Take the standard method as prescribed even in the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada concluded, then you will be successful. The example is already there. I'm preaching all over the world Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is no fashionable interpretations. No, as it is. And how it is being accepted. So why not in this country? In this country, Krishna consciousness is natural. Artificially, it is being cut down. Forget Krishna. This nonsense dharma should be stopped. Take Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is being accepted all over the world. Why not in India? Why do you present competitors of Krishna? Don't do this. Take this instruction of Bhagavad Gita that Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. You will be successful. The standard is there. The instruction is there. Everything is there. Why should we try to manufacture something new? Is there anybody in the world, even now, better than Krishna? Who can give good instruction more beneficial than Krishna? No, there is not. So take this principle, Bhagavad Gita as it is, the instruction of Gita, instruction of Krishna, and try to follow. It will be successful not only in India but all over the world. This is my practical experience. Cameras flashed and Prabhupada was covered with garlands. The sadhu Swami.
Maharaj is very interesting way of writing. See, till now it is actually, if you see, this might have been recorded, I hope, in the recorded lecture. So Maharaj has a beautiful way of intertwining the incidents with Prabhupada's lectures, the teachings from his lectures, and he's narrating it so nicely as being a audience to this beautiful Leela, you know. Like Narada Muni sees the Leela in Dwarka, and then he narrates, isn't it? Like that, Maharaj is one of the witness to this beautiful Leela, just not so long ago in the Kali Yuga. Please continue, Prabhu.
Cameras flashed and Prabhupada was covered with garlands. The sadhus, swamis, and political leaders all deferred to him with honor and respect. Still, for Prabhupada, working on the Juhu project was even more important than addressing the prestigious assembly, and I felt that my service was being validated. On the way out from what does this mean? My service was being validated, Prabhuji?
Validated means Maharaj, Prabhupada is having an eye on Maharaj. It's not that the land is gone now. You validate with somebody's validating you. Whether you are doing it or not.
On the way out from the program, Prabhupada stood at the top of the stairs at the entrance of the building and surveyed the neighborhood. This is one of the best places in Bombay, he said. One day we should have a temple there.
So which place is this?
This is just near to the Chopati temple, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Radha Gopinath temple, Radha Gopinath.
One temple
Yes.
Prabhupada built by physically struggling for it. Another temple he built just by saying a word. One day there'll be a temple here and the temple. So Acharya can do anything, you know. On one side he can struggle hard like a normal person, and any ordinary person can struggle hard to get the piece of land. Another side will just say, let there be a temple here. Nityananda Prabhu decided that let there be a temple here and the TOVP is coming up. Isn't it? There will be a temple there. That's why, is it Nityananda Prabhu? Bhakti Nota. So
I think
then
it was
there
Bhakti.
notice. Okay. Yeah. So
I'm not sure about
next section,
Prabhuji, but Bhakti
Sorry?
Thakur.
Yes. So who wants to read the next section? No, we are going to complete this. So let's complete this particular section on page only. Anyone? Yes.
After his meeting with Mrs. Nair, Prabhupada had worked intensely to deal with pending litigations and get other claimants to withdraw their claims. He shifted from Mr. Sethi's house to Kiran Kutir, the weekend cottage of one of Bombay's most prominent industrialists, Sri Chandrakant Katau. It was a simple single-story structure near the beach, just 2 blocks from Hare Krishna land, near Sumati Morarji's bungalow, with 4 rooms and a large central hall, enclosed within low brick walls and a chatai that extended up to the thatched roof. On October 14, he wrote to Balimardhan, "After a great struggle for existence, it appears that I have won over Mrs. Nair. The negotiation started on my arrival and the mediators suggested 20 lakhs. Then it went down to 17 lakhs, but by Krishna's grace, I have settled with her for 14 lakhs 50,000 and about 1 lakh for compensation to the other claimants. The charges of the several litigations have all been have all been withdrawn, and the preparations for the conveyance are in progress. Prabhupada was eager to receive funds from New York, but they had been dispatched by mail order. The date had been fixed for the 19th, and he was getting anxious. Finally, after several phone calls and telegrams, we received a telex from the bank that the money was on the way. And when it arrived, Prabhupada went to the bank with Tamal Krishna to make further withdrawals from fixed deposits and other accounts. On the 18th, he wrote to Kirtanananda, "Our Bombay affairs are almost settled. The conveyance deed is prepared, and it will be signed within 1 or 2 days." Normally, conveyances had to be signed in the presence of the registrar at his office in the city. But Mr. Asnani had arranged for the registrar to come to Juhu after hours. Okay. And the following day, the 19th, was set for executing the contract. Mrs. Nair had invited her friends, and we had invited ours, and everyone in the area who had helped with the land gathered at Kiran Kutir to witness the momentous occasion. At 6:30, we all crowded in Prabhupada's room. The registrar, Mrs. Nair, and her lawyers, Mr. Asnani and Mrs. Warrior, Mr. and Mrs. Sethi, friends from both sides, and a number of devotees. Tamal Krishna, Shyam Sundar, Gurudas, Harikesha, Srutakirti, myself, and a few others. Prabhupada sat on his asana behind his table, centered between two windows, with the rest of us seated on the floor. Mrs. Nair to Prabhupada's right. The room was packed. Prabhupada was ready with a check for all the full amount and again assured Mrs. Nair, "Don't worry, you can stay in any of my centers. We will take care of you. Now you just devote the rest of your life to Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna and serving Krishna. Everything will be all right." "I really didn't go along with my husband," she told him. "I didn't want him to do that." He patted her on the back and repeated, "Don't worry, you are like my daughter. Never mind if a man is going on the wrong path in the morning and comes back on the right path in the evening. It's all right. It's all right. Now you are on the right path."
So nice, really. Yeah. So how sweet is Prabhupada? It's dealing with everybody, the different moods. Just like Krishna has different dealings with different people. And as soon as she realizes her mistake, Prabhupada is all love, all care like a daughter. He is taking care of her. Mhm. No baggage, carrying baggage from the past, this, that, and all. Completely so loving. So let's read further. This one more page before you.
He looked grave as the registrar prepared the papers for signing. It was as if everyone was holding their collective breath. A historic event was taking place, like the signing of a treaty between two great world powers. The room was hushed, silent. The room was hushed, silent, save for the rustling of papers and the scratching of the pen. Prabhupada signed the conveyance and presented a check for the outstanding funds to Mrs. Nair. She was full of emotion, weeping as she read, but she pulled out her pen and added her signature, transferring the land to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And the document was handed over to the registrar. The land was legally ours. The whole process.
Please continue, Prabhupada.
The whole process had taken maybe 20 minutes, but it was the fulfillment of years of struggle, of dreams, desires, and hard work. And now it happened. There was no losses everyone had won. Prabhupada spoke about the temple project, visualizing it for those gathered. It would be made all of marble, he described. How could that be? Somebody asked, but he confirmed that it could be done. the temple would be a major landmark, like one of the 7 wonders of the world, and people would come from around the globe to visit. Prabhupada explained the whole project as if he saw it in his mind's eye. Mrs. Warrior later remembered, and he said that after it was constructed, it would be more than what we could visualize. It would be fantastic. All right, Prabhupada announced, not missing a step. Now we will begin the building fund. Your help is your help is important. I want all of you to help whatever way you can, bodily or whatever. Mrs. Sethi was wearing some gold bangles. She took them right off and gave them to him. This, she offered, is to begin. Prabhupada said that he was pleased that the fund had started with gold, which is pure, rather than paper currency. Prabhupada
Anyone wants
asked,
to continue? Or otherwise Prabhupada can continue. Last one more page is there. Finish this section. This is chapter.
We'll continue. Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes, was Prabhu. Continue, please.
Prabhupada asked that the news be conveyed to the press and then invited everyone out to the hall for a grand feast. The guests were seated on 2 long rows of mats and served on leaf plates. Now let us start, he proclaimed. At first he stood, supervising the devotees serving all the prasada.
Potato.
Can you scroll?
Yeah, everything that you make, Srivas Prabhu, all are there. Read.
Pulao, potato, cabbage, cauliflower, and eggplant.
Eggplant pakoras.
Pakoras, dal, poppers, 2 or 3 sabjis, including potato, mixed vegetable, and cauliflower, tomato chutney, and the sweets. Vermicelli kheer, barfi, laddus, cham cham, halwa, all cooked in ghee, with lime juice for a drink. Then he sat with everyone and ate. The mood was happy and festive. Afterward, there were fireworks, and then people began to filter out. When all the guests had left, Prabhupada, leaning back on his asana in his room, put his feet up, laughed, and said, "It was a good fight." He was beaming. Then he said, "Someone should write a book about it." I walked back to the land with some of our local supporters. We had never been so happy. It was a great victory. It was like a wrestling match, Tamal Krishna later described, like Vishnu having dealt with Kamsa and Chanura and Mustika, as if Prabhupada had really enjoyed the whole thing. It had been a great opportunity to utilize so much service for Krishna. There is no single thing that we saw in the history of ISKCON that ever absorbed his energy and attention as much as getting this Hare Krishna land. The next day, Prabhupada wrote to Atreya Rishi. Prabhuji, please scroll. You will be pleased to know that here in Bombay, we have now secured the Juhu land from Mrs. Nair. It is a great relief that after such a long struggle, we can now do something very wonderful for Krishna. This land has very good potential. So now let us utilize it in Krishna's service. Later in a talk in Calcutta, Prabhupada reflected on how Krishna had helped Sakyam to make Krishna your friend. Krishna can be served in so many ways. Krishna is such a kind friend, even practically. We had a very big struggle in Bombay for our land. They wanted to break our temple to drive us away. It was a great commotion. All Bombay people know it, but I simply prayed to Krishna, "My dear Krishna, anyway, you have come here. You have sat down here. It will be a great insult if you are removed from this place." So Krishna heard it and we won the battle. Now the land is ours. The land is ours. It was a great battle. Krishna is so kind.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Such an amazing chapter, huh? All full of twists and turns, and every minute is thrilling. He had somehow come to this point where this particular chapter, but still there are many more very, very sweet things that are going to come up in the next chapter, that is facing challenges. So my availability, I'm not sure next this coming week, but if I find some window in between 1 day or so before, I will, 1 or 2 days before that, one day I will keep you informed of this. Thank you so much for being part of this journey of relishing this beautiful memory of Prabhupada. It may be about one temple, but it involves so many beautiful facets of Prabhupada's qualities, transcendental qualities. His preaching, his forbearance, his kindness, everything is out there, isn't it? So let's see how I think we have completed this chapter now. Next thing we'll start up with this the next chapter. A beautiful thing coming up. And some very nice, interesting things are also going to come up. The land is God, but still there are some people who are sitting in the land in their own place. So Prabhupada will do some funny, interesting drama to drive those people out also. That is coming up next. So let's read that thing, how Prabhupada is handling such people as well. Okay, we'll stop here, Prabhu Mataji. Thank you so much for your time. And I'll let you know either Wednesday, we will have Wednesday or Thursday, we'll have our session. Same time. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.